Happy Hanukkah, everybody. Chodesh Tov. This is the beginning of a new month in the Jewish calendar, the month of Tevet. And this is the fifth time that we are celebrating the beginning of a new month in the Jewish calendar together. Month of Tevet, and it's Hanukkah. Let's start this celebration singing together some Hanukkah songs. Let's go. Hanukkah linda está aquí, 8 candelas para mí. Hanukkah linda está aquí, 8 candelas para mí. Oh, everybody say, oh. Una candelica, 2 candelicas, 3 candelicas, 4 candelicas, 5 candelicas, 6 candelicas, 7 candelicas, 8 candelas para mí. Muchas fiestas voy a hacer, con alegría y placer. Everybody say, oh. Una candelica, 2 candelicas, 3 candelicas, 4 candelicas, 5 candelicas, 6 candelicas, 7 candelicas, 8 candelas para mí. Happy Hanukkah, everybody! And now let's enjoy frying donuts with Ariana and Sara. Enjoy the show. Happy Hanukkah.
making escargot today.
What is that?
You know what that is.
Oh, but why?
We are making jelly donuts because we fry them in oil.
Nice. So what is all this?
Well, these are our ingredients. First of all, here's our instructions. And we have in front of us 3/4 of a cup of water, 3 cups of all-purpose flour, a pinch of salt, 3 tablespoons of sugar, a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. We have 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast or 1 package of dried yeast. We have 1 1/2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. And we have more for frying, the souffragnotte. And we have 1 large egg. The first thing we're going to do is to activate the yeast. And to do that, we're going to...
Why do we need to activate?
Well, we need puffy, airy donuts. And the way to do that is to have nice, yummy, active yeast. So we're going to put the water in the microwave for approximately 20 seconds. And then we are going to add the yeast and just a little bit, like a 1/2 teaspoon of sugar and a little bit of like a teaspoon of flour. So we are heating the water right now.
Everybody needs to go to their microwave and heat the water.
And everybody needs to start working together with us. Okay, so our water is now warm. We don't want it hot, we just want it warm. So we're going to add our yeast. We're going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of sugar.
You know why?
Yes, this activates the yeast. The yeast needs something to eat, and this is its food. And then we're going to do about a tablespoon of flour. And we're going to mix that. Mix it pretty well. This is better. Thank you, Ariana. Just until all of the ingredients are incorporated. And then we're just going to let it do its thing. And you'll know that it's working. Whoops, needs to be better mixed. You'll know when it's working because the yeast will start to fizz. It'll get small bubbles and it'll look like it's, I don't know, like it's
For
fizzing.
how long? We wait.
About 10 minutes it should activate.
Okay, so let's set an alarm for 10 minutes.
In the meantime, we are going to work on our dough, with the exception of the yeast, of course. And we're going to start with 1 egg, and we're going to add the oil.
Let's mix the egg.
Well, we'll mix the egg in first. Doesn't like to be mixed with the dough book. So we'll add the oil, and we'll add the vanilla. And we'll wait till everything is incorporated. if everything's not mixing, just use your spatula and get it all going.
También voy a hacer una sopa de cerdo.
Maybe beat the egg ahead of time. That would be easier. Okay, once that looks pretty well mixed, we're going to add our flour. Gonna add a little bit. Oh, okay. We're going to add about 1/3 of it. And we're going to mix.
Sara, why we don't say the blessing of Shekayah?
Well,
We have so long that we don't cook together.
oh, I see what you're saying. It has been a long time. None of us can wait until we can all be back in the kitchen together doing fun projects.
So maybe the next project can be for Purim.
Maybe we can do Hanukkah again. That would be nice. So now that that's getting mixed in, we're going to add this little more flour. And obviously we do this because if you add all of the flour at one time, it's going to have a lot of trouble incorporating with the wet ingredients. Meanwhile, the yeast is starting to do its thing a little bit around the edges.
We can add now the salt.
Okay, so now we'll add the salt in, which is just a pinch. Now the dough will get a lot looser once we add the water with the yeast. So don't panic if your dough looks very dry.
It's in order to gain some time.
This is just, we're giving time for the yeast to activate.
If you can sing,
Or you can sing Hanukkah songs. We're going to add the rest of the flour, and then we're going to add the lemon zest as well. And we used a microplane to zest the lemons, which makes it very easy. If you don't have a microplane, I suggest you get one. They're great for all sorts of things, whether you're zesting rinds of lemons, or if you have fresh nutmeg, it's great for fresh nutmeg. So we're going to add the balance of the flour. And we are going to add the lemon zest. Which smells divine.
how is your kitchen smelling? Oh,
Okay, and now the yeast is getting there. It's starting to bubble up a little bit. If you can notice, there's a little bit of a froth starting to develop at the top of the measuring cup.
so it's alive.
So it's definitely alive. Now once we get the dough in good shape, we'll be rolling it out.
No,
No?
wait.
I'm sorry, it will need to rise for a little while.
But now the weather is It's very cold. What we do?
Well, we can put it on the oven if we have a warm oven, and that will help, or in any warm place near a window perhaps if the sun hits it. I'm starting to smell the yeast. Are you, Ariana? Well, I can smell still.
I smell the lemon.
I smell the yeast.
Yeah, it's coming. You see, it was a 3/4,
Right?
and right now we are almost 1.25 cups. That's how we trade. I don't know.
The yeast is definitely activating, which is always the scary part when you use yeast. You never know if it's going to work.
If it doesn't grow up, it's not good.
How many donuts does Israel consume every year? I don't know. Anybody want to guess?
5 million.
No.
Okay, so there are 9 million of people.
90 million people in Israel?
No, 9 million.
9 million, yeah.
How many? The population. It's 9
9 million.
So I don't know. Let's say that each one, that it's not a baby or a little kid, it's taking one. Let's say 8 million. So 8 million is 3 or 4 each one.
Not even close.
No?
Israelis consume over 24 million doughnuts every year. And mostly at Hanukkah.
Sara, look. Now we have 1 cup and 1/3. And how long we have now? It's already the 10 minutes? No.
It's getting foamy from the bottom too.
Yep. So how many time we have? 1:30. 1 more minute.
1 more minute because we're letting the yeast activate for 10 minutes. If you could see inside, you would see that it's really very frothy. And it is.
And it was, don't forget, it was 3/4. And look, it's almost in 1.5. This is how we know.
We should have very fluffy donuts because we have very good yeast.
And we also put a lot of love.
And yes, and love is the secret ingredient.
Always. And happiness. And everything.
Hola, Miguel!
Oh.
Come in!
No, yo no quiero
Our
ahora.
favorite person just arrived.
Happy holiday
Happy
Happy Hanukkah
Yeah.
en felicidades.
Gracias, Miguel. ¡Felices fiestas!
Miguel! We love Miguel!
Gracias,
Ya terminó.
mi amor.
Sí.
Ya terminó. Ya terminó.
Okay, we are now at 10 minutes and the yeast has really done its thing.
Ya no está afuera, déjame
We
ver.
are going to pour the yeast and the water into the flour. We want to make sure we get all of that good yeasty stuff out of the measuring cup. And now we are going to beat for 5 minutes until the dough comes together.
Sara, what color do you want to make the donut?
Purple,
Purple, and how we mix the colors for purple.
food coloring. It's right here. But do we have purple or do we have to make purple?
We need to make this.
So we need blue and red. We have blue and we have red. But do you think they'll look silly if they're purple?
It's Hanukkah.
And they're supposed to be festive.
So right now, the dough is getting together.
The dough is coming together. Boy, what did we do without electric beaters and dough hooks? We used our hands, yeah. We made muscles.
That's good, so we don't have...
Chicken wings.
So you need to be patient.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
It's not very fast.
That's right, it should be on low speed.
So, hopefully you're having fun and you are learning how to fry donuts. Now, while Sara and Ariana are cooking, we are going to study a little bit. So, there are some questions that I would like to answer for all of you. And the first one is, why is there a custom to eat sufganiyot on Hanukkah? And there are many reasons. The first one, eating sufganiyot on Hanukkah commemorates the miracle of the oil because the process of making donuts involves frying butter in oil. This is a minhag, a custom. It's not a law, but we have an early source that declares that eating sufganiyot on Hanukkah is in fact an halacha, a law. Rabbeinu Maimon ben Yosef, the father of the Rambam, Maimonides, lived in the 12th century, and he considered eating sufganiyot a sacred obligation. In his Arabic language, he wrote that one should not be lenient with any minhag, any custom or tradition, even a minor one. So, even that this may be a minor tradition, we need to fulfill it completely. Apparently, he loved the donuts. What was the custom that the father of the Rambam wanted to preserve? The custom was to make sufganim. Sufganim are our actual sufganiyot. He said that the donuts were tzapihiyot bidvash. What is tzapihiyot bidvash? That term comes from the Torah, and it refers to the manna that fell every day but Shabbat while the Israelites were in the desert and fed them. The manna tasted like a wafer with honey. The custom was to fry the honey cakes in oil in commemoration to God's blessings with the miracle of oil. This is one point of view. This is one point of view why we eat donuts on Hanukkah. Another one comes from Rabbeinu Nissim, another rabbi from the Talmud. He wrote that we should not denigrate those customs. He said that all the minhagim of the Jewish nation are like that. For example, we eat symbolic foods on our holidays, such as eating fish on Rosh Hashanah. And again, all the customs should not be denigrated. Another origin of eating that delicious treats come from the prophets. They said, Al titosh Torat imecha, do not forsake the Torah of your mother. What does it mean? Do not abandon the religious practices of your mother. The practice was that in the 9th month, which is Kislev, in honor of Matityahu ben Yochanan and in honor of the Hashmonaim, the pious women who had expertise in frying used to gather to make various types of delights. They used to make a type of pastry that was fried in oil to commemorate the miracle of the oil. The reason number 4, the sufganim, that are our actual sufganiot, they come from the word sfog, that means sponge, and that is the physical nature of the dough. This kind of food was common food many centuries before the story of Hanukkah took place. Finally, Rabbeinu Maimon ben Yosef said that one is properly obligated to have a festive meal with food during Hanukkah. The halacha doesn't require festive meals on Hanukkah, but encourage them. Also, there is a custom to eat dairy on Hanukkah, so many have the custom to eat cheesecake. As we usually eat cheesecake during Shavuot, and to make a difference between one holiday and the other, a custom to fill the donut with cheese started. As you see, there are many different reasons why we eat sufganiot during Hanukkah. But we have more questions to answer.
Claro, eso se hace ahora. Sí, ahora.
So, Ariana, now we have beautiful dough.
Yeah,
It's nice and smooth.
Está bien.
You can feel the moisture, and we made it a pretty marble color.
now we need to put it here.
We're going to put it back in the bowl, and we're going to cover it, and we're going to let it rest and rise for 1/2 hour. For 1 hour. Well, we have a bit of a discussion because on the directions it says 30 minutes, but Ariana says for 60 minutes.
60 minutes the second time.
We have another question. Why is there a custom to eat dairy on Hanukkah? We have many reasons. The first one. The reason comes from this verse that says, "Yesh le'echol gvina b'Hanukkah, lefi she'anes na'asa b'chalav she'echila Yehudit et ha'oyev." There is a custom to eat cheese on Hanukkah because the miracle came about through milk or dairy products that Yehudit fed the enemy. The Greeks enacted a Lord's Right decree requiring all Jewish brides to first submit to a local officer before they were permitted to marry their intended husband. There are several versions of the story, but according to one of them, Yehudit, the daughter of Yohanan Cohen Gadol, the patriarch of the Hashmonai family, was due to submit to the local official on her wedding day. But she had a plan. She brought with her wine and salty cheese. Once alone with the official, she fed him with cheese, which made him extremely thirsty. Then she offered him the wine, which he consumed, and he became intoxicated and fell asleep. Yehudit then took his sword, sliced off his head, secretly escaped, and hung his head on the walls of Jerusalem. When the Greek troops discovered their decapitated leader the next morning and his head posted upon the city walls, they became very frightened and ran away. This miracle occurred a number of years before the main miracle of Hanukkah, but we commemorate it in combination with Hanukkah because the enemy was the same, and it happened during the Greek domination of the land of Israel. Thanks to Yehudit, the decree was abolished. So even that this miracle happened before the main one, it is part of the salvation of the Jewish people. So in commemoration of this great aspect of the Hanukkah miracle, which Yehudit facilitated with cheese, the minhag, the custom developed to eat dairy products on Hanukkah. Another reason why we eat dairy products on Hanukkah is that the Torah was saved from being forgotten. It was like we reaccept the Torah, as if it was given to us again. There is a parallel between Hanukkah and Shavuot. Shavuot is the holiday in which we celebrate the receiving of the Torah. There is a custom to eat dairy on Shavuot. And now that we are reaccepting the Torah, the custom is to eat dairy products too. Interesting, right? Okay, now let's continue frying donuts with Ariana and Sara. Keep enjoying. Hanukkah Sameach. Happy Hanukkah to all of you. And Chodesh Tov.
So now we're just going to drop them in gingerly. And you can see that the oil is nice and hot. We're going to do 4 at a time. Well, you have to be a little careful on how many you put in because you don't want to drop the temperature too much. And when you see them starting to brown a little bit on the outside, that's probably when it's time to flip them.
Like a minute.
And you can flip them back and forth.
It's a bathtub.
Yes, an oil bath. The oil could be maybe a little hotter.
They are dancing.
You don't want your oil too cold because then your donuts will be a little greasy. So it's a little bit of an experiment with the oil. We'll just take a little look. Oh, look how beautiful. They should all probably be about ready. This one actually is too fat. It needs more oil because it's resting on the bottom of the pan. You want these to go so they get nice and brown on their side and they're cooked in the middle. Okay.
I forget that we have to.
So we can take a look. Looks pretty good. Then we're just going to move them to a sheet of parchment paper or paper towel, whatever you have.
We are taking these bottles, sticking it into the donuts.
So here we go, everybody. The final project. They're beautiful. Thank you all for joining us. Come and eat some donuts.
Happy Hanukkah to everybody. Hope you had a great time with us. We had a great time with all of you. So, see you next month, or really see you tomorrow. Okay? Happy Hanukkah. Bye. Laila Tov. Chodesh Tov.